few years ago, I started a US program focused on fellowships for resettled refugee youth around this question of what it means to share your own story on your own terms. And right around the time that this fellowship started, I was contacted by Connect for Climate, which is the climate storytelling arm of the World Bank. The pandemic had started. This was, June 2020. I had, gone home for spring break from college, and they said, "Don't come back." And I was lucky enough to be able to, stay home. And they said, "COP has been canceled. We don't know when the next COP was going to be." And I really wasn't familiar with COP. I wasn't sure what it was and what took place. And they said, "We want to do this series that brings together young climate leaders and connects them with global leaders in ways, again, that are intentional and meaningful." And they asked me to co-host this series. And so we did 9 months, 9 episodes, 1 hour a month. And then we all met up in Milan, about 180 delegates from all around the world that were part of the Youth for Climate Live initiative, many of whom became dear friends that are here. And really, from 2020 onwards, I started to think very, very deeply about, again, that question of what is my own climate story? For a long time, I thought it was something that I was very removed from, that I didn't know what my connection to was. And I realized that through my own stories and the poetry and my own journey, I had a responsibility and the ability to be able to share these stories in ways that were meaningful to me and the communities that I hope to work with. And there was a critical moment where I realized that it wasn't enough to just share my own story anymore of leaving Iraq, going to Syria, being resettled to the US. I didn't want to be that inspiring refugee that came up, on stages and told their stories and people got emotional and that was it. I wanted to do something more. And I wanted to remind the world that the stories of young people, displaced or otherwise, extend beyond the tragedies that they may have experienced. And this applies to the climate story as well. We're seeing climate displacement all around the world, and it's becoming the issue of our time. It already is the issue of our time. So when we think about the stories we possess, the stories that we have the ability to tell, and the stories we have the ability to activate, we have to remember that, yes, we each have our individual stories, and we have the ability to tell them. We have the power to share them or not to share them, and both are okay. But there's a critical question, and that is, how can I share my own story? But how can I share my story in a way that creates spaces for other stories to exist beyond it and beside it? And if we can figure out the answer to that question, our world will be so much better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. That was incredible. I mean, when they say storyteller, they were not kidding, right? Did you hear the eloquence? You were able to resonate with his story and just feel connected to it, and also go beyond that. And I really hope you guys are able to interact with Ahmed and hear more and find out more about his journey and his story as well. We will take a 30-minute break. We'll be back here at 4. But feel free to mingle. There's some bean bags all over. This is, again, Extreme Hangout, so feel free to hang out and chill, relax. It's really taking away from all the busyness and all the uptight stiffness of COP28, and you can just hang here, and we look forward to having you back at 4 p.m. and for another round of Young Changemakers, and you can see what's up next. Thank you.